We share a world with them, but almost none of us has ever seen one. We only have stories about them, fantasize about them, and even dream about what they are. But I have had the opportunity to be a part of their world, a world I am about to share with you now. With this documentary, I am going to take you into a world of dragons. Dragons will mate for life, and they engage in a lot of displays of affection, unlike most reptiles. Pictured here are the mother and father that I have had the opportunity to follow. The male is the green with the gold adornments, and the female is the blue. One way to identify the sex of the dragon is by the spikes along its back. The spikes on females stop before the hind legs, most likely for mating purposes. Even though the blue and green are about to lay another clutch, their offspring from the previous hatching is still dependent on his parents. As far as I can tell, he is only about 8 years of age. He will continue living with his parents until he reaches sexual maturity, between the ages of 14 and 20, and he gets the urge to find his own mate and hold his own territory. Dragons will mate in the summer months in a spectacular display in the air. They will climb as high as they can in the sky before joining and dropping to the earth, separating from each other before they hit the ground. Dragons almost always make their nest in a cave on some high mountain. If the mated couple can, they will try to use the same cave every year for egg laying. After the mother and father mate, the female will carry the eggs until late summer when she lays them. The parents will try to collect precious stones and metal to use as the nest base. This has led many people to believe that dragons are greedy and try to hoard as many valuables as they can. In actuality, the parents just collect enough treasure for their nest and for their dragonettes to play with. The eggs have to be kept warm constantly, and the parents take turns acting as a space heater. A dragon clutch has anywhere from 5 to 9 eggs in it, depending on the age and the health of the parents. An average of about 2 dragonettes per clutch make it to maturity, but only about 1 of these are able to establish their own territory and find a mate of their own. A dragon's territory can span to as much as 1,000 square kilometers. Even though dragons prefer to live in mountains or forest areas, they will settle anywhere that they can find food, and preferably settle somewhere where they can find a nesting cave. Dragons are only affectionate within their family group, and often get into vicious fights with neighboring dragons over territory and kills. The entire family takes turns heating the eggs, even the older sibling. Since there is only 1 dragonette who is alive from the previous clutch, and the current nest only has 5 eggs in it, I would guess that these are newer parents who are only on their 2nd or 3rd clutch of eggs, putting the parents at roughly 30 years of age. Dragons never keep children for more than 3 hatchings ago. It seems that dragons take every opportunity they can to bond with their families, and egg sitting is one of those times. It is extraordinary to see reptiles this affectionate with each other. It is thought that dragons have evolved to be more affectionate because their offspring take such a long time to mature, and the support of both parents is required to raise one to adulthood. In early spring, a year after the mating, the eggs are ready to hatch. The dragonettes inside the eggs will emit a small peeping sound to alert their parents. Hatching is an extremely dangerous time, and, if the dragons take too long to break out of their shells, a parent will light the nest on fire to encourage the young ones to hurry out of their eggs. I took these pictures moments after the dragonettes hatched. Unfortunately, only 2 of the small ones were strong enough to survive the hatching, despite there being 5 eggs in this clutch. But, still, the day of the hatching is a happy time, and the entire family is overjoyed to welcome the 2 small dragonettes. Almost immediately, the blue and green left to hunt. The dragonettes had all of their teeth and were ready to have a solid meal. Dragons are excellent solo hunters, but they prefer to hunt with their mate. If they can, they will leave an older child to watch the eggs or hatchlings while the parents try and find a meal. From the first moment they were out of their eggs, they were ready to play. Like all predators, dragonettes engage in mock fights that will prepare them for hunting and fights among their own kind when they are older. They might look clumsy now, but they will have a lot of time to practice. Their parents will not teach them how to hunt until they are old enough to use their wings. Dragons are strictly carnivorous and will carry their kill back to the nesting cave before they eat it. Because they need to fly it back to their cave, they do not try to hunt extra large prey. Dragons will actually scorch their meat before eating it. This makes the food easier for them to digest. Dragons will also smoke their meat to preserve it so that they can have food during lean times in the winter. Dragons are extremely dedicated parents, and no matter how hungry they get, they will always let their offspring eat first. But the parents do have to watch and make sure that the older siblings do not eat all of the food before the newly hatched ones do. A dragonet does not develop the ability to spout fire until about 12 years of age, and this signals the start of puberty. You can tell if a dragon has reached sexual maturity because their horns around their face will change into a different color than their scales. A dragon creates fire by spitting an oily substance which ignites on contact with oxygen. Here are some pictures of the dragonets about 1 year after they have hatched. Their wings have started to develop and they now have the lighter underbelly that is present amongst most adults. They still have a long way to go before they are full-grown adults, but they are looking strong and healthy, and I am optimistic that they will make it there. Dragons remain entirely underground until their wings are large enough for them to use to fly, about age 4 or 5. The parents are constantly lighting debris, carcasses, etc. to make sure that their children's eyes get used to the light. Dragons rely heavily on their sight when hunting from the air, but rely more on smell and touch when in the dark nesting cave. When flying, a dragon can reach speeds of up to 200 kilometers an hour, and they can spot prey from as far as 4 kilometers away. They are extremely graceful in the air, and they use their tail to help them turn. Dragons can even swim, though they prefer not to. They use their wings and tail to propel themselves through the water. Dragons are majestic and mysterious creatures, and what I have just shown you is only scratching the surface of their intricate lifestyles and habits. I hope to continue following this one family and many others because there are so many things we still do not know about them. I also want to continue to be a part of a world of dragons.